Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2026 IPF World Sub-Junior and Junior Classic and Equipped Powerlifting Championships. We're in Sun City, South Africa. The championships are presented by Eleiko and SBD. Today on the stream, my name is Erasm Ivans, and I am joined by the strongest part-time teacher and full-time commentator, backed by popular demand, Briar Lynch of New Zealand. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm really excited. Of course, first session, big nerves, big lifts.
We're hoping for some big lifts. First session is going to be, so we're starting off with the equipped part of the championships, and first session is going to be the sub-junior 53s, 59s, and 66s, and right after, we're going to have the juniors 53s, 59s, and 66s. These are the lightest men's categories, but already, even in the sub-juniors, some pretty sizable weights are going to be moved. Have openers ranging on the squats from 140 to 212.5. Oh, there's a bit. Oh no, these are the nominations. So the nominations are ranging from 135 to 212.5. The openers are ranging from, yeah, that exactly. Uh, just a little bit confusion in my head. First session, have to get in the groove, and first out we have Riyad Mohammed of South Africa.
Just 17 years old and opening with 135 kilos. First lifter of the whole championships. Oh, I think a bit of nerves maybe there.
Yeah, he just lost his balance, sort of fell forward on the way up, but this is equipped, so these things tend to happen, especially you're a sub-junior, you're doing your first squat at the World Championships, representing your own country on home soil. It can get to you, but it definitely looked plenty strong enough to take that again and get it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up next, we have Trey Nguyen of USA, opening at 140. These are the two competitors in the 53s, and from the looks of it, the squat and bench are going to be reasonably close. Deadlifts are going to be where Trey pulls ahead and probably secures the title in the 53s.
But we do have the whole day before then. They do need to get some lifts on the board before that. Those deadlifts start to matter.
And the clock is running down on Trey. He's out with 15 seconds left.
Makes me a bit nervous with equipped because obviously things take a little bit longer for the lifters.
Yeah, this is going to be a matter of seconds here.
Well, he gets the squat command.
Yeah, it's three white lights. It looks like a very nice first attempt, but for the following ones, maybe come out at least a couple seconds earlier.
Yeah, we would hate for someone to miss a lift just because they've timed out.
And it can happen that two of the referees are not satisfied with your starting position. You have to re-rack the bar, and if you come out with 20 seconds left, you just don't have the time to do that.
Exactly, it's margin for error, right?
Up next, we have Rihan Mohammed of South Africa. First of the 59s out, is opening at 157.5.
A bit of a grind there on the way up, but he gets it up.
And it's three white lights, a good lift. I think he hit the hole quite hard. I'm gonna check that replay. I think he went back onto his heels a little bit, but then did very well to recover.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yevgeny Belinsky now of Ukraine, opening at 167.5.
3 white lights, and that's probably the smoothest opener we've seen so far out of these young lifters.
In the 66 this week is Alan De Beer, South Africa, 175. Lokishe, get ready.
Yeah, it is a little bit grindy. He does have international experience though, it's not his first rodeo. Took silver at Euros equipped this year. The final, oh, the first 66 out is going to be Alan De Beer of South Africa, opening at 175. And once again, the clock's ticking, and the lifter is not yet out.
Yeah, we can't quite see him in the waiting area either. If you look on the live stream, perhaps still getting wrapped up.
Right, out with 25 seconds.
I think with equipped, it's a tricky balance to make sure you're not wrapping too early, but you're still wrapping in time to get onto the platform.
Absolutely.
Three white lights for De Beer, get
And
ready.
that is 3 white lights, a good lift.
Three openers to
And
go.
as you said, you really have to strike a balance on when you put on the knee wraps. If you wait for too long,
Bar is loaded for Japan.
your legs can go numb. You can just completely lose feeling in your feet, which of course is not particularly good when you're trying to use those legs and feet to lift a pretty sizable weight on the squat. Fujie Yuto now of Japan, opening at 180.
A super controlled descent and a big grind on the way up for the young Japanese lifter.
I was afraid that unfortunately just was not locked out on the top. It's rare to see squats missed in the very top position, but you can see him here really starts shaking and just
Bar is
cannot
loaded for
quite keep
Japan.
control of the bar.
And that backward step, of course.
This is really tough because it's very hard to control that sort of shaking.
Absolutely, and equipped adds a whole nother layer of things to think about, variables.
Ethan Andrews now of United States, opening at 190. He's the top predicted in the 59s. More than 100 kilo lead on openers.
And a super smooth looking opener, very quick.
Nice and easy.
It is 2-1 though. He gets a red light from the far side referee for depth, and this is the angle here.
Final opener, Josh Cunningham, USA, 212.
I think this should be okay.
Yeah, I'm not super sure the jury will put too much thought into that. It looks pretty good.
So these are the standings before the final opener of the group. And that goes to George Cunningham of the United States, opening at 212.5. He is at the top of the 66 class, or at least is gonna be if he gets his openers in. And that is a very easy first attempt. There's a yellow light, however, from the center.
So two athletes yet to be on the board. We have 107.
Yeah, yellow can be for any number of infractions. It's easier to pick what the fault is with red and blue
Round
lights.
starts with two with 135.
We're back to the start of the round. We have two lifters yet to get a squat on the board.
The bar is
So we
loaded
have
at
Riyad
100
Mohammed
anything.
without a squat on the board. He's going to be first out in round two, retaking 135. Just needs to keep the proper balance.
Yeah, hopefully his nerves have settled a little bit and makes it a little bit easier for him to get a lift on the board.
And that's a 2-to-1 good lift now. A red from the center referee
From the front.
should be a
Next up is
signal
ladies
for inadequate depth.
162.5,
Calling
151.5.
depth from the front is a tricky one as a referee. Tend to put more weight in what the side referees can see, but he has got a lift on the board.
Bars
So
loaded to play.
game's open for Riyadh.
Train Nguyen now of USA, jumping to 152.5. Pretty sizable jump of 12 and a half. Almost a 10% increase at these weights.
Yeah, and when you think about how light the body weight is of the lifters as well, that's a huge chunk. It's like 20% of his body weight. Very controlled in both directions from Trey, and it's 3 white lights, a good lift.
Extremely nice and technical.
Riyadh Mohammed, South Africa, 165, jump of 17 pounds. Green team's color. Bars loaded.
Up next at 165, we have Rihan Mohammed of South Africa. Again, slightly late on the platform.
Here he comes now, just timing that right. Also, the walk out onto the platform for the lifters it's quite a
30
distance, so
seconds.
timing that as well, that's something to be concerned about or at least aware of as a coach.
Sometimes we do see coaches carrying lifters onto the platform.
Yeah, especially in the 43, 47 women's classes, which is, of course, this afternoon.
Oh, come on.
And 3
Trying to
white
set the
lights, a
tempo.
good
3 white
lift.
lights
I
coming
was
in.
afraid
A good lift.
the bar dipped slightly there, but
Next up, giving you the green
let's
team's
take a look at
colors,
the replay.
172.5, jump of 5. Hussein the Beer's color.
Oh no, yeah, he did very well to keep the
Bars
bar moving
loaded.
up.
And he smiled partway up as well, knowing that he had it in him. And I think his coach had that faith in him as well, judging from what we could hear.
I don't know where you go now to a third attempt. This seemed to be pretty much on the limit for him.
They have put in a 7.5 kilo jump for him though, so maybe that is just how he squats.
Yevgeny Belinsky now going for 172.5.
It was a really quick descent in the squat, so the
3
fact
white
that he
lights
stood up with
continue
that,
for green
very
team.
impressive.
Nagoya is
3
179
white
kg.
lights.
Tokyo, Japan, retaking 180. The Beer color.
Now for the final athlete without a squat on the board
Bars
yet.
loaded. Fuji.
Yuto Fuji of Japan, reattempting 180.
Yeah, I think there was just a couple of concerns with his lockout for his first attempt. It was much more controlled.
Another no
It's
hit.
still not a
Another
good
green
lift.
team has
This
time
time
to
it's
play.
3 red lights.
Yuto to get one final shot at the third
I'm
round.
guessing
Next up is the Beer from South
for
Africa.
depth
Bars
it
loaded.
did seem like he cut it a
155.
bit, but also just he
Color.
wasn't quite totally extended in the top position. Knees and hips
It
still
is a little
slightly
bit
bent.
nerve-wracking for our Japanese lifter, and 3 reds for depth. I mean, the jury can't do anything about it. His coach can't do anything about it. He's just going to have to really sink that next time he comes out.
Lucky thing is, none of the two attempts looked particularly heavy. So if he just plays it safe and retakes that attempt, should be okay. Ellen de Beer now of South Africa going for 185. There's 3 white lights, but a pretty heavy second attempt.
205 jump with 15 for Ethan Andrews from the USA. George Cunningham, get ready.
I'll see if we see another wild jump attempt like from Mohamed. 205 now for Ethan Andrews of USA. He just keeps extending his lead in the 59s.
Very quick there from the American lifter, and 3 white lights.
Final attempt of the second round, George Cunningham, 225. Brackets 12.5. Riyad Mohammed, get ready. The bar is loaded, we're going on.
And the final lift in round 2 with 225 is going to be George Cunningham of USA. 12.5 kilo jump, but he's a 66 and he's squatting well into the 200s, so this is more reasonable of a jump or less in fact impactful percentage wise.
And he made that 12.5 kilos look pretty easy. They could probably put another 12.5 on for his third
The
and
third
have no
round, final
issues.
attempt to make changes for the
I don't think it
juniors.
would be unreasonable.
Attempt is Riyad Mohammed from South
It's
Africa,
very easy to make coaching
142.5.
calls from the commentary box, though.
Almost as easy as being a coach after the competition.
100%. Hindsight's 2020.
So,
Bar
as
is
things
loaded,
stand, we
Riyad
had a
Mohammed,
successful round 2
142.5.
overall, except for Fuji. He's going to be retaking 180 for a
Brackets
third time in the
130
last round.
degrees.
And it's going to depend on that 180 whether he's on the board or if he's out of the competition, leaving the podium in the 66s a lifter short. We're gonna see we're starting off round 3 with 142.5 for Riyad Mohammed of South Africa.
The 180 no
That's
lift, brackets
unfortunately a no
12.
lift, 2 reds, but that, like, just looking at the lift, that was by far the nicest of his 3 attempts.
Yeah, it looked super nice, but his 2 reds were for depth, and from that angle there, I would have to agree
Yeah,
with the referees. It is a shame, but it was smooth, it was fast. He just needed to sink it just a tad further, but he
The
does have
bar
a
is
squat on
loaded,
the board, so all is not lost.
absolutely, and he really doesn't have anybody chasing him. He's the one doing the chasing, but it's becoming less and less reasonable that he could have a chance.
Yeah, and I suppose just having like a good day for the individual on the platform is a goal for a lot of
processing
these lifters
reset,
as
1
well,
minute.
particularly if
Going ahead.
their nominations are significantly behind that of the people who are coming first, second, whatever. And he can still be happy he's got a squad on the board. Let's hope his day continues in a positive trajectory.
Train Nguyen now of USA taking a bit of time to unrack the bar. Yeah, just cannot get out the hole.
Still squat gold is the USA.
It was a really nice squat up until that point, though. The depth, the control, all of those good things.
72.5, Bielinski, bottom. 3 attempts to make changes for the juniors.
Yeah, I think he sat back on his heels in the bottom position and sort of recovered about halfway, but just wasn't there.
That's all right. He still secures the squat gold in the sub junior 53 equipped.
77.5.
And he's still got a pretty comfortable lead ahead of Mohammed in the overall scheme of things. Now Rihan Mohammed of South Africa, 172.5. Now this is an interesting jump because the 165 was an absolute grinder and they're jumping a further 7.5.
Oh, and that is a wobbly walkout.
Ooh. Yeah, even the walkout was not particularly convincing. Unfortunately, the 172.5 is going to have to wait for another day. Still, I think he can pretty much say that he did the most he was able to today on his second attempt.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he left any many kilos out there, if any. But yeah, that walkout, that was a little bit wobbly. I think if I was reffing, and I am a referee sometimes, I probably would have let him settle the bar a little bit longer before giving him the squat command.
177.5 now for Yevgeny Bielinski of Ukraine. This is the interesting fight now. Silver medal in the 59s. Bielinski and Mohammed are very close together.
Unfortunately, just got stuck right in the hole there.
Alright, so it's gonna be Mohammed with an advantage going into deadlifts from the looks of it. Bielinski does take over in the squats. Bench is there, and then Mohammed, from the looks of it, has the stronger deadlift.
Yeah, the battle for silver in the sub-junior 59s, I think that'll be quite a fun one to watch unfold as the morning continues.
Absolutely, and now we have the final athlete who has not put a squat on the board yet. He's done it twice, both with very different infractions. Retaking 180 once again is Yuto Fuji of Japan. This time was to the right lights. Oof.
Oh my goodness. Thankful for that. And to be fair, that was very easily his best lift. It was super controlled. It was very tidy. It's a shame he didn't get it on the first try.
Yeah, I can see why that was the opening weight. This was a reasonable opener. Just unfortunate he missed it twice. Alan De Beer now, 187.5. Just a 2.5 kilo jump. Judging from the second attempt, an appropriate jump.
Yeah, of course. I mean, these lifters do have a long day ahead of them. You don't want to leave every kilo out on the platform on squats because he still has to deadlift, still has to bench. And a shake of the head on the descent, he knew that that was not going back up.
Well, that's demonstrating a piece of wisdom that you don't usually see with the sub-juniors. If you know you can't make a lift, just don't make it. Don't exert yourself trying to make it if
Exactly.
it gives you a chance of getting injured or over-fatigued.
It was a very mature decision, and of course that's what our lovely spotting and loading team are there for. safety and lifting the kilos when our lifters just can't.
Ethan Andrews now going for 210. The 190 and the 2.205 was very easy. Now this slows down a bit. Still 3 white lights.
I wouldn't have said that looked like a third attempt.
No, more like a second.
Yeah, I think so.
But of course, it could also be that he's just a very fast squatter, and when it drops off completely.
The bar is staged.
Absolutely. And now we've got George Cunningham for the last squat in this flight. 230 kilos on the bar. The clock is ticking down. He is getting close to 30 seconds.
30 seconds for George Cunningham. 15 seconds.
I don't think he's coming out.
Here he
Oh,
comes at pace,
10
oof.
seconds.
running with knee wraps. That should be a sport in itself.
5.
Now that is
No
extreme
lift.
sports. Unfortunately, it's a no lift. There's a red and the yellow,
That is the Indian squad
but
40
that was extreme.
centimeters.
That was extreme. He got the start of the
USA
squat command
57
right on the buzzer. The fact he managed to get out there, get under the bar is admirable.
66ers. Non-stop for the juniors, openers ranging from
And so these are
155
the
to
standings for the
225.
sub-juniors in the
First highlight
53.
in red
Squad
1
gold goes to
USA.
Nguyen of USA with
The bar is
152.5.
loaded.
Squad gold in the 59s goes to Andrews of USA with 210. And squad gold in the 66s goes to Cunningham of the USA with 225. So a clean sweep for the Americans in the sub-junior categories. Now we'll see how the juniors pan out. We have openers going from 155 up to 275 for Modem Vamsil of India.
Yeah, America sending a full team of equipped lifters for the sub-juniors and junior men. Some quite famous names coming up in this flight as well.
We're starting off with Braden Hollier opening at 155.
3 white lights, it's a good lift and it looked like a really smooth opener for him as
Braden
well.
with only a 170. Final buoy line, get ready. The bar is
Up
loaded.
next, of Mongolia, we have the second challenger in the 53s, Bayaryargal Bayarma, opening at 170. Now this is interesting. He was nominated well behind Hollier, but he's projected 30 kilos ahead.
Three white lights, a good lift
And that is
for
3 white
Mongolia.
lights, a good lift.
Final buoy line in Chinese Taipei, 225. Vasil,
Already a 10
ready.
kilo personal best for Bayarma.
What a way to start the day, especially on the international platform.
Moving on now to the first 59, we have Boy Wan Pan of Chinese Taipei opening at 225.
Very controlled setup there, and that's one of those things that you would hate to be too late onto the platform for.
And that's 3 white lights. Good
3 white
lift.
lights,
But yeah,
skating
as you said,
points.
he got the command with about 5 seconds to
Goal
spare.
for Inubushi,
And
comeback by
with a more
Mongolian
controlled and
at
elaborate
number
setup,
5. Inubushi.
you get used to it and you need to do it in order to squat well. So he wants to get on the platform as
Bars
soon as
loaded.
the bar loaded is called. Uganbat Batsoknav of Mongolia, the first of the 66 is out, opening at 2:35.
Three white lights, 5 seconds on the board.
That was 3 white lights, a good lift, and nice and controlled as well from the Mongolian lifter.
Inubushi, Japan, 2 full seats. Cody Lacko and Brady Price to follow. The bar is loaded, 2 full seats for Inubushi.
Now another old friend of the international platforms, Sukevri Inubushi of Japan, opening at 2:40.
The Japanese team just arrived yesterday in Sun City, so I'm hoping he's had time to adjust and acclimatise, because that could be pretty rough.
It's a 2-to-1 good lift. The red light from the right side, I
Nice start.
thought I
Price
saw
Powerlifting,
it
USA
live.
245. His last outing as a junior.
I think that looks okay on the replay, because that red light would have been for depth. I think he
Bars
was just
loaded, 50
incredibly
seconds on the clock.
controlled, which means that the
Brady
refs have
Price to follow.
more time to scrutinise depth.
Now Bodhi Lacau of USA opening at 2:45 in the 59s. Waiting in 59.00.
Bodhi, of course, quite a famous name in junior powerlifting. I believe he competes raw as well.
2-1.
And that's a 2-to-1 good lift. Red light from the
Also
right
Brady
side
Price,
referee.
Marlon
For
Haas,
depth again,
275 and 275.
and this is the angle you'll see here. I
I
think
can't see exactly where
Bars
the hip
loaded.
crease is. It looked alright to me.
it did, and I don't think the jury looks overly concerned with it either, so I'm thinking that lift will stand for Lacau.
2 openers remaining up in the 66s. First out is Brady Price of the USA, opening at 2:55, and he's also the first of the 66 title challengers. From the looks of it, it's going to be between
30
him
seconds
and
for Brady
Vamsi.
Price.
And if you weren't awake, you are now. Brady is on the platform.
And that is a 2-1 good lift. Red light from the left side referee this time.
Which is the side that we're sitting on. So you won't be able to see it on this street, the replay here. Hard to tell there because his elbows were in the way. But that was super quick from the American lifter.
And the final opener of the lightweight juniors is going to Modem Vamsi of India, 275. Personal best of 305. Not that far from the record. Standing at 315, it would take some big jumps. But he's gonna need those anyway if he wants to beat Price.
Nice and easy, 3 white lights for Modem Vamsi. Everyone's on board by 3. The first round
And
was
that's 3
even.
white lights.
Round 2 begins. The rated audience first in the second round with 162.5. Bayarma in pads.
No issues there, but do you reckon he can get up to 315 on the third attempt?
Ooh, that is a good question, and it is something I would love to see this early in the championships. A good go at the world record.
I think that's gonna be the decider for the 66 kilo title. How far up Vamsi can push squats, because that's where he has the most advantage over Price. Starting off round 2 now, we have Braden Hollier, 162.5.
All of our junior lightweight men in this equipped flight are on the board with their first squat, so that's awesome to see because we didn't have that luck with the sub juniors earlier.
Moving very appropriately for a second attempt, 3 white lights.
Next up, 180 is
And
Mariano from Romania.
immediately getting out of his suit on the platform. I think he's looks a tad uncomfortable there.
Well, getting stuffed into a very stiff, usually a little bit too small of a suit will do that to you.
Yeah, and it's very early in the day for that kind of carry on as well.
Bayarma of Mongolia now, 180, a 10 kilo jump. Trying to extend his lead over the American.
Lights, solid second
And that is
attempt.
3 white lights. Excellent second attempt for Bayarma.
Now jumping 333.5 for the pass to the line.
And the Mongolian lifters are bringing the manners to the
Passing juniors
platform.
opener.
He's either
Nice and long.
sandbagged on the
The bar is
nominations
muted.
a lot or made some insane progress, which would not be unheard of in juniors.
Yeah, juniors and sub-juniors have the luck of youth on their side, so big gains are not out of the question for them.
Boy Wan Pan now of Chinese Taipei, 232.5. Jump of 7.5.
I think that's a very reasonable jump in a squat. His opener did look pretty smooth, if I remember correctly.
Was that a mistake just there in the bottom?
I think he might have lost his balance, but yeah, he
Okay,
hit
zero
the
back
hole
down.
and
Moving goes to
just
fitness 5.
got speed wobbles,
Easy
maybe.
to use, skip skip.
Yeah, I think the hips shot back.
Yeah,
Okay, let's
and
move on the
that would
impact.
have been really tricky to recover from if he was able to. So hopefully he can maybe slow that down a little bit in his third attempt and get that 232.5.
Batsuk now of Mongolia going for 245.
Seconds.
It's quite a fight.
Again and still get 2 white lights. Phenomenal effort.
It's a red from the center referee. That would be on depth. Yeah, again, did super well not to let the bar dip. Oh, and yeah, unfortunately, the jury has overruled that on dipping of the bar, so blue lights.
Ah,
That's unfortunate. It was
255.
a very close call, though.
yeah, absolutely. But of course, with the jury, they have to unanimously decide whatever the infraction is. So if 3 supremely qualified referees think that it's a no lift, it is most likely a no lift.
Ryuichi Inubushi now of Japan going for 255. Big jump of 15. But he has the experience to back up such a jump.
Missing the check
We're waiting for the referee lights here.
Yep.
It's 3 white lights. Don't see anything wrong with that lift.
for a jump of 15 is
Yeah, the suspense waiting for the lights was all worth it. 3 whites.
He's not going to want to do it any higher, though.
No, I thought that was probably right on the line there.
260 now. Another jump of 15. It's time for Bodhi Laco of USA. Got a 2-1 on his first attempt, so needs to do it exactly like the first one, or maybe a little bit better just to be safe.
Yeah, it was the far side referee who just gave him a red for depth. But then quite often lifters are a little bit lopsided and one side will be higher than the other.
And again, 2-1 good lift, a red from the right side referee. But it has stood in the first round. I think it should stand again.
This one for provisional squad gold matching fancy the lighter on body weight. The bar is loaded.
I think the jury agrees with the
Fancy in the
white
to
lights.
follow.
Yeah, they don't seem to be discussing anything.
Have Brady Price up next at 275. Huge jump of 20 now to catch up to Vamsi.
Yeah, Brady is in it for the battle, and we do have quite a lot of Team America watching and supporting in the crowd this morning, which is lovely to see.
So the one a good lift for Brady Price. Finality of the second round is for Moyen Vamsi, India.
That is a good lift, 2-1. Oh, struggling really hard to get off the platform. Oof.
Yeah, immediate unwrap from the coach there.
The bar is
And now the final lift of the second round is 287.5 for Modern Vamsi of India. Not as big of a jump as we were expecting, or at least hoping for, if we wanted to have any shot at the deadlift, at the squat record. But he's building up the total.
Yeah, that would be have to be quite an enormous jump from second to third for him to have a go at that record. So maybe he's just kind of keeping it in the ballpark where he knows he can be successful.
And it's a beautiful looking second attempt. 3 white lights.
Yeah, I mean the 12.5 kilo jump was probably a pretty safe jump from Team India. He probably could put a couple more kilos on that and it'd still be within the realms of a reasonable second attempt.
I think an appropriate third now is another 12.5 to 300. So as things stand after round 2, we have Bayarma from Mongolia leading in the 53s, Lako leading in the 59s, and Vamsi leading in the 66s, but being challenged by Price even in the squats. It, he's not as clear as you'd think he would be from the nominations. We'll be starting off the third round with Braden Hollier of USA. Pan has unfortunately scratched his final attempt. Let's hope he did that just to have a little bit more energy for bench and deadlift.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope nothing went terribly wrong after that squat for him. And it was a beautiful catch from our spotters and loaders. Unfortunately, it went a little bit too lopsided for Braden.
And his right side just would not go up. Very hard to recover from that. Basically have to do half a Steiner squat and doing that with a weight that's pretty much your max effort. Okay, now this is fascinating. 37.5 kilo jump for Bayarma of Mongolia. He went 170, 180, now 217.5, and I'm wondering, has he possibly changed suits in between? Because that's the only explanation I have for a jump of 37.5. It's a jump you expect in open one.
Oh dear, he has dropped it behind him. He was very unsteady on the walkout.
Oh, yeah, I think that was just way too big of a jump. I don't think he can reattempt that.
I mean, he didn't get the squat command, and all's fair before the commands.
That's true, and technically you can have the spotters help you unrack.
Yes, you can, and you can also re-rack yourself before the rack command to get settled.
So, would the squatters putting the bar from the floor back into the rack count as spotters helping with the unrack?
I don't know. I don't know. That is
No,
a shame, though.
this tickles my lawyer brain now. I'm gonna have to check the technical rulebook after the session,
Okay.
and we'll come back to you with an answer during bench press. Batsuk now, reattempting 245. He got a 2 to 1 good lift on his second attempt on this weight. Unfortunately, he was overruled for downward motion of the bar.
Yeah, it did come to a grinding halt about halfway up, so we're going to hope he can keep moving through that this time.
Oh, and it looks like night and day. 3 white lies this time.
Maybe he just needed to get used to the weight.
Ibushi's guaranteed bronze in the 66s.
Now the squat bronze medalist in the 66s, jumping another 10, the Yuichi Inubushi of Japan.
Yeah, a 10 kilo jump, a very reasonable jump in this weight class for the squats. Makes slightly more sense than a 37.5. It's really taking its time on the setup. And squat command with 6 seconds to go.
And unfortunately realizes he does not have that in him today. But save the energy.
Yeah, again, making a really mature call for a junior lifter and just saying, nope, not today, and letting the spotters do the hard work of bringing it back into the rack.
Bar is loaded for Bodhi Lako.
Bodhi Lako now 270.
Bodhi
Showing
has
some
already
improvement out of
secured
his
squat
equipment.
gold in
Final
the
squat
59
approximately
junior
72
equipped
kilos.
class with his 260.
Make it count,
And
Bodhi.
he's within striking distance of the squat record, standing at 275. He'll not be going for that today, but surely he's going to go for the deadlift and total records.
If Bodhi Lako doesn't go for a deadlift record, why are we here?
Now, and this time, unfortunately,
No red
it's two
flag
red
against
lights.
Bodhi Lako.
Yeah, the centre ref joining the right side referee on that depth call
Next
for
up is
Bodhi,
breaking class.
unfortunately, but he does still
USA
walk away with
increases total by
the
10.
squat gold.
Fights in
It,
full
it
title
did
for the belt.
seem a smidge higher
Both names
than the first and
aged
second attempt there,
293.
and the
The
jury
bar
seems
is
to be
loaded.
happy with the no lift call. So that is
Gentlemen,
gonna
squat
stay a no
approximately
lift. He's
40
still
kilos for breaking
within
class.
reasonable striking distance of the total record if he does well on bench and deadlift. 285 now for Brady Price. Another 10 kilo jump. And this time it's
Loaded
two
double
reds.
deadlift for Lako.
There's gonna be a no lift for Brady.
Yeah, same call there from the
Final
right side
squat
referee
of
and
this
centre
fight
referee
for the
as
classification
Lako. I mean,
EPF
it is,
for
it
56
makes
hour
sense to
pro
start cutting depth when the weight starts getting that high.
An important squat in the race for the title.
And the final squat
Since the bar is
of the
loaded for
first
Modern Lako.
session of these championships, and we were already at 300 kilos. None other than Modem Vamsi of India. He's familiar with this weight, has done it in the past, has done even a bit more than that in the past. And it would give him a nice advantage over Price going into bench and deadlift.
And it is our first 300 anything of the championships.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Final squat, come on.
Oh, come on!
Oh!
I really thought
Little
there he
bit
was
the
gonna push
2,000
through it.
contenders misses
Yeah,
their final
unfortunately not
squat.
quite there, but a huge lift and a great
Participants
attempt
will be
nonetheless.
judged at the
Yeah, so
title.
it's still going to be very
Present the weight
close
for
between
bench
him
press,
and Price in the
deadlift,
title
and
fight.
total
That's what we have
reps.
to look ahead to as we go into a 10-minute break. We'll be back in about 9 minutes time. And just to go through the results, Bayarma of Mongolia with a big personal best of 180 despite the mishap with the uh, insanely huge jump to her third attempt, takes the gold in the 53s. Lako, as expected, takes the gold in the 59s, and Vamsi takes the gold in the 66s with 287.5. So join us back again in about 9 minutes time, and we'll see you then. And we are back once again, ladies and gentlemen, for the 2026 IPF World Sub Junior and Junior, for now equipped, powerlifting championships. We have had an exciting squat session. Now we have the bench press ahead of us. And these on the screen are the projected totals for the junior part of the competition.
20 kilos,
As we can
ready,
see,
one.
big change from the nominations. In the 53s, we have Bayarma projected quite a lead ahead of Flair. Laco is leading in the 59s, and in the 66s, it's looking like it's going to be a very close
The
fight
bar is loaded,
between Price
Mohammed,
and
ready.
Vamsi after they both missed their final squats. The first bench of the sub juniors will go to Riyad Mohammed of South Africa, opening at 80 kilos. They have lowered that opener by just a bit, and then the highest opener is going to be Alan De Beer of South Africa, opening at 130.
Three white lights, and it is a nice opener for Riyadh, which is nice. He had a bit of a shaky start to squats, so getting his first bench on the board is great and will be a great confidence boost for him as well.
Yevgeny Belinsky of Ukraine up next, also at 80 kilos.
Three white lights,
And
good lift.
a good lift there for our Ukrainian lifter. Three white lights.
95, Fuji and Indian, get ready. The bar is loaded.
The bar loaded now for Rehan Mohammed of South Africa, coming out to 82.5 kilos.
To the 1, a good lift.
And that's a 2 to 1 good lift, a yellow from the left side
Weightlifting
referee.
ban for 90 kilos.
And as I said earlier, yellow can be for all number of infractions, and in bench in particular, there are so many things to look out for as a referee. Butt, feet, head.
The bar is loaded.
Maybe it would have been the right heel.
Yeah, the rule says as flat as the shape of the shoe allows, and Riyadh was lifting in Converse, which are notoriously bad for kind of curving up at the back.
Yuto Fujie now of Japan, opening at 90 kilos. Had a bit of a hard time with the squat, so let's hope bench goes better.
Yeah, he left us on the edge of our seats coming in for that third squat, but thankfully he got it on the board.
Three white lights, a good lift.
And that is a 3 white light good lift for Fuji.
For Indian from the USA,
Can start
92.5.
building up that total now.
Get ready.
Yeah, it was a bit
The bar is loaded
wonky
for
on the way
Indian.
down, but with the bench shirts, which are of course part of equipped, bringing the bar to your chest evenly can be the biggest struggle of the bench press.
Train Nguyen now of USA, 92.5. That was a very comfortable first attempt. On the way down and on the way up, almost looked like he was doing it without a shirt, but of course you could see that he does indeed have a bench shirt on. Yeah, he just mastered how to use it properly.
Absolutely, and he looked thrilled as he came off the platform, so maybe that was even easier than he was expecting.
Ethan Andrews now going for 125.
Three white lights, 6 minutes.
Another three white lights, another super comfortable opener.
Yeah, for sure, and that looked really tidy, but with his setup you could see how technical
The bar is
benching
loaded.
equipped really is. There's a lot to think about in the setup.
Imagine bench in raw powerlifting is the most technically complex of the three lifts. And then you add in another factor, that's the shirt, which has a million ways it can be set up, adjusted. You can manipulate the positioning of the shirt in the front, in the back, in the sleeves. So it adds so many more factors and so many more possibilities of something going wrong, but also if everything goes right, it can be really great. George Cunningham now opening at 125. Another wonderful opener. Just waiting for the center referee light, and it's three white lights, a good lift.
Yeah, Team USA are doing really well with their bench openers here, all really tidy lifts. No questions asked in terms of uh, any infractions or anything like that.
And the biggest bench opener goes to South Africa and Alan de Beer. He's opening at 130. On the nominations, he was 2.5 kilos behind Utah, but after Utah's mishaps in the squat and the pretty great performance of Alan in the squat, and now from the looks of it in the bench, he's opened up quite a gap in between them. He's sitting in a comfortable projected second position.
And it's three white lights there for the South African. Everyone has a bench on the board, which is fantastic, just what we like to see.
With release from Ukraine, 85 kilos, jump at 5. Iyad is next with
It was not the
165.
smoothest opener though.
The bar is loaded.
Bar sort of half stopped about a third of the way up and then almost stopped about two-thirds of the way up, but he made the lift. He's on the board. Everything is green as we head into round two with 85 on the bar for Yevgeny Belinsky.
Three white
It's
lights,
three white
20
lights.
minutes.
It's still about as
Round
smooth
two
as the
went
first
1
attempt.
point points for Iyad and Ludo Fujin. The bar is loaded.
92.5, a 12.5 kilo jump. Very large jump indeed, especially on bench press with the 53s. Siriyat Mohammed of South Africa.
12.5 kilo jumps are like fairly reasonable for squat and deadlift. Bench, it's no problem for Riyadh.
3 white lights, 6
It does
minutes.
slow down a bit,
And
but you
now
would
10
expect
minutes
that
for
from
Iyad and Ludo
adding
Fujin.
17.5%
The bar is loaded.
on the first
95.
attempt. not that good at math. That's a rough estimate.
It'll be interesting to see where they go for his third attempt there.
Now the minimal jump of 2.5 for Fuji Yuto of Japan, 92.5.
Three white lights, sacred lift.
3 white lights, a good lift.
100 kilo G-lift
Still
from
looking
Myanmar
very
of
comfortable.
South
I'm
Africa.
wondering if
50 minute,
they're
get ready.
playing it a little bit safer.
The bar is loaded.
100 kilos now for Rian Mohammed of South Africa. An even bigger jump of 17.5.
Yeah, Team South Africa's game plan is not something we're used to seeing, but if Rehan lifts anything like Riyadh, surely not a problem.
Oh, that is an excellent looking second attempt. There is a yellow from the left side though. We're gonna check
102.5
this out.
for
There's,
Team
as you
USA.
said, a plethora of reasons why you
Training
could get a
objectives to
yellow
follow.
light.
I do think
The
it
bar is
is his
loaded. Jump of
far
10 kilos
heel,
this time.
but is it the shoe? Is it his foot? Unsure, but that 17.5 kilo jump did not seem to be a problem.
I think it was the shoe again. 102.5 now for Train Nguyen of USA.
Ooh, unfortunately not quite able to lock that bench out.
George Cunningham,
I want to see the
132.5.
replay
Andrew Ndubia to follow.
to see whether he just lost the bar path. Yeah, I think the bar went towards his head, which is what you want, but not too much of that, and then
The
went
bar is
back
loaded.
towards his feet. And very, very hard to recover from that, especially in a shirt.
Yeah, and his opener looked so smooth, so I'm sure it was just that loss of bar path. I don't think it was a strength thing there for Trey.
Absolutely, and what they can do is also change the positioning of the shirt to try and get a little bit more pop, a little bit more support. 132.5 now for George Cunningham. Great looking second attempt. I have
132
nothing
for
to add
India.
there.
Yeah, phenomenal lift there from
Jason
George.
Andrews from the
Looked
US.
pretty comfortable. It'll be nice to see where he goes for
50 minute to
his
follow.
third attempt. He's not that far behind Alan De Beer now, but Alan is still yet to come out for his second.
The bar is loaded. 135 for Andrews.
Ethan Andrews now, 135, a jump of 10, which, judging from his opener, should be totally reasonable.
No lift.
This time
Yellow
it's two
again.
yellows from the sides, unfortunately.
I'm sure we will be able to see what the infraction is on this replay.
135. The bar is loaded. 50 begin ski to follow.
Ah, yeah, the glutes have left the bench, unfortunately.
Yeah, and for both side referees to notice that on like in real time, it's quite egregious. So he'll have to come back and make sure he keeps his butt on the bench.
If the side referees can establish eye contact underneath your butt, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Alan De Beer now going for 135 to take back the lead in the bench press in the 66 kilo category. This is a no lift,
Showing De
unfortunately.
Beer a little hurt yet another shot at an
I
impossible
think the bar
lift
just
there.
went too far
Rather than
towards his
getting
head.
injuries for the juniors, the third round starts with Bielinski from the
So
white
again, they can
equipment.
manipulate the shirt. They can pull the collar down in the
Alan
front,
Mohammed to
get
follow.
some more pop, more support. They can torque the sleeves, but that is going to be a no lift and a chance of Cunningham to take the bench gold in
The
the
bar is loaded.
66s. He is leading
95
now in the
centimeters 5 for
59s.
Bielinski.
The leader is Andrews with 125, and in the 53s it's tight. It's 92.5 for both Nguyen and Mohammed after a miss from Nguyen in the second round. If he does not get it, Mohammed can overtake him with 95 he's put in. But first we have Yevgeny Bielinski of Ukraine going for 90. Lots of work on the lockout. That is 3 white lights, great third attempt for Bielinski.
Yeah, and he got all 3 bench presses on the board, and I think that was really nice attempt selection from Team
South
Ukraine.
Africa 95 kilos. The bar is loaded. And Fiona Mohammed to follow.
95 now for Riyad Mohammed of South Africa to try and take bench gold in the 53s. Well, that is a solid looking third attempt. It was the minimal jump of 2.5, but I
Lights
think that was
delivered.
the appropriate selection of attempts.
Rules are to make changes
So
for the
he's into
juniors. This
first
time the score stayed at
now,
USA 102.5.
and it's all going to depend on whether
The
Che
bar is loaded.
Nguyen can
Rian
make the
Ito to follow.
102.5 happen.
Just heard the American coach tell Trey to get it in the groove, so making sure he doesn't lose it forward or backwards. Again, we didn't think it was a strength thing on his second attempt.
Unfortunately, could not quite get it in the right groove,
2 attempts to make
which
changes for the
means he'll be
juniors.
walking home with bench silver.
105 match
Mohammed
point,
with smart
150
attempt
for
selection
Bielinski.
managed to get gold. You were not sure about the game plan, but
105, the
turned
bar is
out
loaded for
for the
Mohammed of
better.
South Africa.
Rian Mohammed now of South Africa going for 105.
Again, a smaller jump for the South African lifter from second to third. And it was just a little bit too heavy there for Rehan.
He still has bench silver, but he's now gonna be
115 for
a
Japan.
little bit
Yuto
closer
Fujie
to
coming in.
Bielinski in the fight for the
Congratulations for
silver
the
medal
juniors.
in the 59 sub-juniors.
The bar is loaded. Andrews and De Beer to follow.
Yuto Fujie now going for 115. Big jump there from his second attempt. Come on. I just want to wait for the lights.
Yeah, that suspense there for our Japanese lifter.
I think we're gonna have to rely
I
on the
think we're gonna have
fighter
to
maybe
get the
assessing the
referee flags, but the lift looked insane for
is
a
going to end
22
2-1.
and a
Two
half
to
kilo
one,
jump.
yeah.
2-1 good lift.
No more changes for the juniors. 135 is loaded for Ethan Andrews.
I think it's gonna stand, and that is
The bar is loaded for
crazy
Ethan.
jump, successful for Fujia.
The Beer and Cunningham to follow.
135 now reattempt for Ethan Andrews. Needs to keep the glutes on the bench.
Just said that's not my rack height, so getting it readjusted there.
And it's night and day from the second attempt. Nice and tidy this time. 3 white lights, a good lift.
135 Holland the Beer, South Africa. The bar is loaded.
Now another
Cunningham to follow.
reattempt from the second round. We're gonna have Alan De Beer of South Africa reattempting 135, trying to grab
to be surpassed by
bench press
Cunningham's.
gold for the time being in the 66s, with Cunningham to follow.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a tighter battle here in the 66 benches than we had predicted. But that's what makes the sport so fun.
Time for a revenge, Alan. Come on.
Unfortunately, it
Looks like
just
we're
doesn't seem like it's
miraculously
there.
staying in silver medal position.
That is going to be a no lift for the Beer.
Final attempt for the gold medalist,
Yeah,
George
he'll be
Cunningham,
walking
USA.
away with
And
bench
second
silver in that
round for the
class. We do have
juniors.
George Cunningham still to come out for 137.5, so that'll just be extending his lead.
The bar is loaded, 137.5.
And what a lead it is. It's going to be 70 kilos on projection. So as you said, 137.5 for George Cunningham of the United States of America. The final lift of the lightweight sub-juniors.
Three white lights,
That looks like
again
a
for the
great third
juniors,
attempt.
the gold medalist of the bench press event. Now it is time for the
Yeah, and
juniors.
spot on attempt selection there
Also
by
known as
Team
the
America.
128,
Bit of a
2.5 kg
grind,
water
but
athlete.
no loss of form. I
Just
think
now placed in second
George
round
had
on
that
the
quite
board,
comfortably.
Masahiro Izinoguchi from Japan. The bar is loaded, 82.5.
So the results of
Holland
the
follow.
sub-juniors are as follows. Mohammed takes gold in the 53s with 95, Andrews in the 59s with 135, and Cunningham with 137.5 takes the gold in the 66s. We're heading into the juniors, starting off with Bayarma of Mongolia opening at 82.5.
Three white
That is
lights,
a lovely
juniors.
first attempt, even doing it
Weighing
raw.
in, USA,
So I'm
92.5.
wondering whether
He's got a
he'll put on a
fantastic
shirt
start.
for his second and third attempts.
The bar is loaded.
Yeah, a few equipped lifters do tend to do that. It just gives them the certainty of getting a lift on the board without the risk of things going wrong in a bench shirt.
Braden Hollier of USA now, going for 92.5. He is wearing a bench shirt. waiting for one referee light there.
As referee, please.
Looked quite alright to me.
To the
It's a
180
blue light
event.
from the center referee
Last year,
though.
Mongolia 125, Buddy Lako, get ready.
And a little bit of struggle towards the lockout could have
Chief
meant
ref.
a dip
The bar is
to
loaded.
the chief ref, Uganbat Batsuk now of Mongolia, going for 125.
The jury didn't seem too concerned about that blue light, so I think that lift will stand, which is great. Of course, the bar can come up unevenly as long as it doesn't dip.
No lift, double red, 1 to 1
As a
clear.
no lift, the blue and the yellow,
Multiple technical fouls here to correct in the second round.
trying to figure out what went
Red,
wrong
white,
here.
first ones for Buddy Lako, USA.
The blue would have
The
been
bar
for
is
double
loaded.
movement
Vamsi,
as
get
the
ready.
centre ref saw it, I believe. I'm not sure what the yellow infraction could have been. As always, yellow is all manner of sin. Butt coming off, heels coming up, head coming up.
Bodhi Lako now opening at 130.
Three
Three
white
white
lights, three
lights, a
green
good
lights for
lift.
Buddy Lako. Same weight for Madam Vamsi. The bar is loaded. Bowman pan to column.
Modem Vamsi up next at 130.
Vamsi had a phenomenal squat session.
Three white lights,
That is
green
three
pan
white
for
lights. Good
contestant
first
Japan.
attempt.
3 more to go. We have Pan, Price, and Ibushi. It is 140 for Bowman Pan, Chinese Taipei. The bar is loaded. Price to column.
You now have Bo Yuan Pan from Chinese Taipei. He didn't have a super great squat session, so hoping he gets his bench on the board, build a little bit of confidence. He is running out a little bit of time with his wrist wraps. Again, lifters cannot go on the
30 seconds.
platform, still adjusting their equipment apart from their belt.
Three white lights, a good lift.
And that's three white lights. Solid first attempt for Pan.
Yeah, a
The
beautiful
blue
opener.
opening opener facing Price, USA 170. Ibushi to column. The bar is loaded.
Brady Price now opening at 170. They lowered his opener down from 180 if I remember correctly, but he's still gonna be in a pretty solid position.
The coaching staff, of course, would have made the decision to drop his opener based on how things were feeling and moving back out in the warm-up area. And it might just be a confidence thing as well, getting something that he knows he can do, and then he can start building that bench score up.
And that looks like a solid first attempt. Just waiting for the center referee light. Yeah, maybe they thought it was also going to be a harder touch. It's 3 white lights, a good lift.
Final
Maybe they
order,
thought it was going to be a harder
Julian
touch, so they
180.
predicted they're going to need more weight to get the bar down to your chest. But with a bench shirt, the temperature, the humidity in the competition venue can also affect how the equipment behaves. Which
Bars
means
ready for
that
Japan and
he was
Inabushi
able to go
180.
for 170, get an easy touch and an easy press. Now Ryuichi Inabushi of Japan for the biggest bench in this morning group, 180 kilos for his opener.
Absolutely enormous bench for a junior. Absolutely enormous bench for a 66 kilo lifter.
Good morning, good
It's
lifts.
a 2 to 1 good
Coming
lift, a
next
blue
for the
from the
men's
left hand
division.
side.
More than one lifter on the board, we're only missing Uganda Batsuk from Mongolia. Missed 125 at
Blue, of
47
course,
kilos.
can be for the double movement or the lockout at
Australia,
the
USA down to 75.
commencement or the
Beyond
completion of the
5.
lift.
So as things stand after the first round, we have Batsuk off the board for now,
Bars
missing
loaded.
125. In the 66, we have Inabushi leading at 180. In the 59s, it's Pan with 140. And in the 53s, is Hollier with 92.5. Of course, all of these are subject to change. We're starting off round 2 with 97.5 for Braden Hollier.
Three white lights, 80 minutes.
3 right lights, solid second.
Yeah, young guys
That was
coming up.
very speedy
Mongolia
there from the young
110.
American lifter.
Batsuk to follow. The bars loaded.
Bayar Yargal Bayarma of Mongolia now, taking another massive jump from 82.5 up to 110. That is massive, but this time he has a bench shirt on.
Yeah, his opener, he was just wearing a t-shirt. So he's adjusted, put his bench shirt on. It'll be interesting to see how this affects his bench. It was a little bit slow on the way up, but at 3 white lights and a good lift.
Next lifter out is Batsuk from Mongolia. He needs that to be on the
So
board
he's
for
now
third for his
extended
second
his
attempt.
lead in the class by
Batsuk
quite
is
a
ready.
chunk.
The bars loaded.
Now the only reattempt or an attempt after a miss in round 1, we have Uganbat Batsuk of Mongolia. Missed 125, still making a small jump to 130. the issue was the lockout, basically doing sort of a double motion in the lockout.
So 20 good lifts on the board.
Still a yellow from the side, but this time it's a good one, good lift. Gonna see where the yellow could be coming from.
Bounces to follow. Bars loaded.
I did see some movement in the glutes area.
Yes, I think our left side referee. Oh, and the jury has overruled that. We did see a little bit of daylight under his glutes there, so he's going to have to come back and give that another crack.
No lift again. Bad
Yeah, so
system.
that's unfortunate. He's gonna have a nerve-wracking third round. Now we have Bodhi Laco on the platform, going for 137.5.
Three white lights, a good lift.
And that is 3 white lights, a good lift for Laco. Just building up the
Ladder
subtotal
loaded,
to
loaded.
enable
Capacity of
him
140.
to go
Stand.
snag a record or two
Bars
in
loaded.
the deadlifts. Modern Vansi up next at 140. That's 3 white lights.
Good lift
Great
for
looking
last.
second attempt.
147.5.
He's going to be
1 second from
keeping
41 and a
his
half.
lead
Bernie Price to
on
follow.
prognosis at least into round 3.
Bars loaded.
A 147.5 now for Bo Yan Pan of Chinese Taipei.
30 seconds from Boyan Pan.
Still a little late with the wrist straps.
I believe he did that same thing in his first attempt there, which means his setup time is now reduced to under 20 seconds.
Well, that is a great looking second attempt. If I were him, I would still start putting on the wrist straps just maybe 10 seconds earlier.
Placing the most once
You don't have to
again.
overdo it, but
For the end of the
a
attempt.
little bit of breathing
2 white
room
lights.
is always nice.
And he
Bernie
got
Price
3
to
white
follow
lights for that lift, so
140.5.
obviously the time didn't affect him too much, but yeah, just a little bit of margin for error.
Bars loaded.
Brady Price now 182.5, a jump of 12 and a half. Originally, his opener was 180, so this should be a weight he's fairly familiar with.
Three white lights for
3
Bernie
white
Price
lights,
to
that
good
is a
lift.
good lift for
He finishes
Price.
the event with
He's also
202.5.
into provisional lead in the bench of the 66s, but Inubushi is gonna have a word about that. So the second attempt for Ryuichi Inubushi of Japan is going to be 202.5, a 22.5 kilo jump to a second attempt.
266.
This is a monster bench. Seems to be in very high spirits.
Monster bench and a monster jump.
This would, of course, mean the guaranteed gold medal in the 66s.
Cannot quite lock it out.
Thank you, sparring coaches. So as of right now, it is Braden Crichton who's saying best provisional gold in the 66s. At this point, he finds himself Ryutei Oyama in the lead, released Lato in the lead in the 59s. Go for a final attempt to provisional
So
and
after
that's gold.
round 2, we still have Batsuk off the board. We have Price leading in the 66s after a miss from Inubushi in the second round.
Oyama taking
Pan leading in the 59s and Bayarma
$1,000.
leading in the 53s after a massive jump up to 110. The battle's shaping up. It's still tight for the title in the 66s. The overall rankings in the 53s and the 59s don't seem to be quite close enough for a title fight. But of course, we've seen stranger things happen, and first out in the final round of bench is Braden Hollier of USA, going for 107.5.
Oh, unfortunately not quite there for Braden today, but he did get the 97.5 on his second attempt, and that was a big 10 kilo jump up to his third.
There's gold in the 53s. He wants to further extend his total by 5 kgs. Bar is loaded. Batsuk to follow.
Bayarma of Mongolia now, 115. 110 was a reasonable second attempt. 5 kilos should be very much doable.
Oh no, not quite there. That was probably
Loading.
just a little bit too much. He got it most of the way, but couldn't quite lock it out.
Now with the spurring of
But he's
Hamika.
still
He's
in a
looking to
comfortable
fight
enough
into
lead
the
that
second round. He would not back
he will be
Batsuk to
taking
go
bench
away
gold and
for set 4.
most
He's
likely
retaining
the title.
130 kilos to try and save himself. The bar is loaded.
Now an important attempt.
Lato and Kamsi to follow.
130, going for a second time for Uganbad Batsuk of Mongolia.
Come on,
He
let's
needs
go.
this to get himself on the board, get a bench up, and stay in the fight.
Nice and secure. Easy win for you, Batsuk.
He's definitely capable of doing this, just needs to do it without any infractions.
So we're going a bit left.
Yellow from the side
Side
again, which
And
worries me.
Which side?
and it was from the other
So
side this
Lato
time.
142.5 going with 5 kilos. He's going
Oh,
There
Bar
was definitely
88.
movement, but this time I don't think they lifted off the bench
Head
completely.
press over
No,
guarantee
and
for lack of.
staying in contact with the bench is the rule. Movement is allowed,
Absolutely.
daylight is not.
So that is him safely on the board. He can breathe a sigh of relief and get his mental game on for deadlifts. Bodie Lacona for USA 142.5.
3 white lights.
That is three white lights, pretty much routine for Leco,
Next up is
and he has
no
set himself up
capacity
very
injury.
well for a record charge in the deadlifts.
The bar is loaded 145.5 kilos. He has guaranteed bronze in the bench press event and is fighting for the title
Modern
overall
Vamsi
for this
now going for
reigning prize.
145.
A very sensible 5 kilo jump up from 140.
Three white lights for Vamsi.
And it's
Joining
three
on
white lights, a good lift.
solid lift, only one finished
Just
so
keeps
far.
collecting the kilos
The final three bench
and
presses stand
keeping
prize to be
himself
released.
in the lead.
First to which is 155 for Bodhi. The bar is loaded. Guaranteed bench press gold over lack of.
Boy Wan Pan now of Chinese Taipei, 155, another jump of 7.5. He has guaranteed himself the gold in the 59s in the bench press.
He's given himself slightly more time with this setup than he has for his previous two attempts.
2 to 1, a good
2 to
lift.
1 good lift. Yellow from the side though, so
Next up is Brady Price of
we
the
have to examine the
USA
side replay.
70.5. Division lead in bench press kettlebell over Ibushi.
I saw movement, but I'm not sure I saw a lift or any other infraction there.
It looked
105.4
alright to
kilos.
me.
The
Of
bar is
course, we've
loaded.
got completely different view than the referees on the platform.
187.5 now for Brady Price of USA. That's a proper fight.
Three
Three
white
white
lights
lights, a
for
good lift for
USA.
Price.
That show that Price is a 3X. They're gonna give us a fantastic deadlift battle. On to the final bench press of this first flight of the championship. Inubushi from Japan, retaining
And now the final
202.5.
bench is 2.5 going again for
The
Ryuichi
bar is loaded
Inubushi.
this was for guaranteed bench press gold in the
This is
66s.
for bench press gold in the 66s. time, unfortunately, it's three red lights, two yellows, and the blue.
Yeah, he just couldn't quite lock it out. He got it maybe like 80% of the way.
Oh, that's really hard to do with over 200 kilos on the bar. He's still going home with the bench press silver medal. So the results in the 53s, bench gold goes to Bayarma with 110. In the 59s goes to Pan with 155, and in the 66s it goes to Price with 187.5, Inubushi in second. These are the projected totals. So in the 53s and the 59s, it's looking like we have a clear title favorite. Whereas in the 66s, there's 5 kilos separating Vamsi and Price. We'll see how this plays out in the third round, and also for the bottom spot of the podium, Inubushi and Batsuk are 10 kilos between them. It's looking like it's going to be an exciting third round. We'll be back in about 8.5 minutes time, and we'll see you then. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the 2026 IPF World Sub Junior and Junior Equipped Powerlifting Championships. We have had an exciting sessions in squat and bench. They were sort of setting the mood for deadlifts, dimming down the lights. I don't know if that was intentional, but the mood is definitely set, and there are some fights that have to play out. In the sub juniors, not so much. Maybe a battle for silver in the 59s if Bilinski pulls some massive performance on deadlifts. We're starting with Riyad Mohammed of South Africa, opening at 140. Just like that, it's up and down and a good lift. Thumbs up from the referees.
Die Dezision-Vorschritt war übrigens 4,93, so it's okay. So good lift. We're now moving on to Nikki Bielinski, Ukraine at 140.
Up next, we're gonna have Yevgeny Bilinski of Ukraine going for 140. If we want to have a
Bars loaded
fight,
for Bielinski,
this has
140.
to absolutely fly up.
Three white lights, 8
Three
minutes.
white lights.
Next up, we have
Reasonable first attempt.
Serbia
So it's
Superliga.
gonna depend on this next pull whether
Brian Mohammed, South
Bilinski
Africa,
can close the
155.
gap.
Yuto Fuji to follow. The bars loaded, 155 for Rian Mohammed.
Rian Mohammed now going for 155. He'll be rounding out his total at 420.
Three white lights, 8 minutes.
That is a good lift for Mohammed, and
Jason Nguyen to follow.
he's in a good position to take the silver medal.
The bars loaded, 160 for Yuto Fuji.
We have Fuji Yuto from Japan coming out for 160 kilos.
Almost completed the lights for
Just waiting for the centre referee's lights, but that looked like a pretty comfortable opener for Yuto.
Chief referee, I need you to press
And it's three white
N
lights, a good
immediately.
lift.
Trey Nguyen, USA, 180. Brazil to follow. The bars loaded.
180 now for Trey Nguyen of USA. He'll be putting up a total of 425 with this and securing his title in the 53s.
That's a good lift.
Three white
Silver
lights,
for
that is a
Brazil.
good lift. And I think he's pretty much secure now in
The bars
first
loaded.
place.
Ethan Andrews to follow.
It would take an outrageous jump from Mohammed to try and catch up. Alan De Beer now 180. They lowered the opener a bit. It's a little bit shaky, but
Three white lights, 8
still a
minutes.
very reasonable first attempt.
And we have lights back in the venue. Right when he put his deadlift back down.
And maybe just shook the cables back into position.
Exactly.
The bar is loaded, 202.5 for Ethan.
Ethan Andrews now of the USA, 202.5. He'll be in a commanding lead of the 59s and will most likely be taking the title with this opener. And that's 3 white lights, a good lift.
Final opener bar showing at USA 212.5. The bar is loaded.
George Cunningham now of USA, opening at 212. He also will be putting himself in the title winning position by quite a margin.
And it looks like a
Three white
very
lights, reserve
comfortable
number
opener for
114 at
George. He's probably
53
got plenty more
seconds.
left in the tank so he can extend that lead.
Standings have changed. Burlington between all three weight classes. Entering the second round representing the BCC brand 147.5. Riyad Mohammed and his brother Ali Mohammed follow.
So these are the rankings after round 3. We have a solid column of green, which is what we love to see. We have Nguyen in the lead with 180 in the 53s, Andrews in the 59s with 202.5, and Cunningham in the 66s with 212.5. All three of them are pretty much set on taking the respective titles. We'll see if any sort of battle cooks up
The bar is
in the
loaded
second and
between
third round. We have
247.5
Evgeny
and
Belinsky going
147.
for 147.5. And unfortunately
Loaded.
cannot break the ground.
155 for Mohammed
Yeah, that
Riyad.
was just a bit heavy. I mean, he
Follow.
can come back and give it another crack on his third attempt, but there looked
The
like
bar is
someone had
loaded.
turned the gravity up on the platform.
155 now, a jump of 15 for Riyad Mohammed of South Africa. It's a big jump. He will be closing up to Nguyen, but not closing up enough, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Mohammed's coaching staff have been pulling big jumps, but I have learnt not to
This
question
is
it
one
because
good
it's
miss.
been pretty successful for him so far.
Well, still works fine for Mohammed. Very comfortable second pole.
He did get a
167.5 for
yellow
Riyad.
in the centre
Follow.
for any number of things.
And the
The
yellows
bar
for
is loaded.
deadlift are usually for either dropping the bar too early or not waiting for the down command, which I don't think it was either of those things. I think it's going to remain a mystery. Riyad Mohammed now going for 167.5.
Three white
And it's
lights
3 white
reserved.
lights, a good lift.
BFC 200 men 175. Kabir, follow. The bar is loaded.
Yuto Fujie going for 175. quite a bit of work towards the lockout.
Number 90,
2
good
to 1
lift.
good lift. I think the blue's coming from the knees.
Blue can be for the downward motion or hitching, supporting on the thighs in deadlifts.
The bar is
Yeah,
loaded.
I think the knees sort of went
There is
under the
overruled
bar,
in this
and
lift with
Yeah.
no lift.
And the jury has overruled that to a no lift, unfortunately. They did agree with the centre referee there.
yeah, I don't think it was an outrageous case of obviously hitching the bar up his thighs, but just enough so that it got the blue lights. Alan De Beer now, 185.
Three white lights,
That is
ticket
3
to
white
US.
lights, a good lift.
Now 3 members of Team USA to follow. First up versus NBN, the bar is loaded, 190. Andrews and Cunningham to follow.
Trey Nguyen now of USA going for 190.
Three white lights, a good lift for NBN.
Just a solid
Ticket
second
to
attempt.
US, 215 for Ethan Andrews,
He's
USA in the front
locking
line.
the bar really low, and every time it makes me think that he's gonna struggle with the lockout, but when it starts to look like it's
Bar is
gonna
loaded,
struggle,
Cunningham to
it's
follow.
already locked out.
Ethan already leads the weight class by more than 100 kilos.
215 now for Ethan Andrews.
And that looked incredibly difficult for our young American
6 to
lifter.
1, good lift.
2 to 1 though, he has only got one red there, and that would have been
Final
for
good lift
lockout
for
from the
Ethan.
side referee.
George Cunningham, USA,
Was
227.5.
RPE 11, but I think the lift still stands.
Beats the 66s by
It
70
was really
kilos.
tough work on the lockout. I think it's gonna remain. 227.5 now for George Cunningham.
Thank you, spotters. The bar is loaded, 227.5. Number 15 for George Cunningham.
Have George Cunningham coming out now with 227.5. Three whites and a very convincing second attempt there. We're now moving on to the third round of
Now the
deadlifts,
third
so the
lift,
final
5
lifts of the
members
day
of
for
Team
our
USA.
sub-junior equipped lightweight males.
First lift throughout in the third round goes to Dmitry from Ukraine, 147.5.
So as things stand after round 2, the title placers remain unchanged, and there is really no major uh, no major battles cooking up for the lower positions. So I think we're just
Bar
gonna
is
get
loaded,
through
5
this
minutes
round,
of
try and
weightlifting
get
techniques,
some
140
personal
kilos per
bests.
bar.
We have some exciting big jumps coming up. And we'll be starting
Next
with
set
Yevgeny
is
Belinsky of Ukraine,
Alexander
retaking
Volkov.
147.5. The 140 on his first attempt moved quite well, and then 147.5 was just absolutely glued to the floor.
He did manage to break the
He
floor
is
this time, but
Lithuanian
unfortunately just
undisputed.
not there today.
That means he'll be third in the 59s.
And that's the thing with sumo,
Four attempts to make
the
changes
floor
for the
is the limiting
juniors.
factor.
Area
Once you
traveled by
break the
Mohammed from
floor,
South
it
Africa. First,
usually starts
Riyadh
becoming
second.
easier and
Now.
easier.
Yeah, you have to be quite patient to get it off the floor in sumo.
The bar is loaded 167.5.
167.5 now for
1.5
Riyad
for
Mohammed
Riyadh.
of South Africa. Great third pull
Second
from
fight is
Mohammed.
good. Lift will be the vice champion of the world as of his university. Three attempts to make changes for the juniors. Next up is Rian Mohammed from South Africa, going for 175. The beer and Fuji to follow. The bar is loaded for Riyadh.
Rian Mohammed now 175.
Strong finish,
It's
three
three
white
white
lights.
lights, a good lift.
Will be second vice champion in the 59s. Two attempts to make changes for the juniors. We have the beer and Fuji. Both athletes will go for 190. The bar is loaded, 190 for the beer.
190 now for Alan De Beer of South Africa. Hoping for a strong finish to his competition.
Three white lights, a good
It's three
lift.
white lights,
Goes
a
for
good lift.
individual deadlift, silver.
3 for 3
Silver for
in
the
the
deadlift.
deadlift. And we
Second
have a
set
first
is
attempt change of the
Saudi from
championships coming
Beer
in.
Fuji.
What
This is
is
his
it
final
gonna be?
attempt to make changes for the juniors.
It's gonna be
Looking to go up 2.5.
192.5 for Yuto
Now for
Fujie
weight
of
advantage
Japan,
over the beer
trying
in
to
Fuji
grab a deadlift silver
192.5.
medal.
The
He
triumphant
missed
silver
175.
medal.
192.5 would be a huge ask.
The bar is loaded 192.5 for Japan and Fuji. And Nguyen to follow.
Really has to kick it into another gear now and give it everything. Come on. Unfortunately gets to the
Excellent
knees,
effort.
but
He
no
loaded
further.
200 on the day.
Was a valiant effort though, and if you get a chance, you gotta go for it.
Adrian, USA, 200 kilos on the dot.
Absolutely, and at this point in the competition, there's not much to
Adrian
lose.
keeps his BSM and wants to improve his mark by 10 kgs. Reach the 200s. Meanwhile, Andrew is in front of me.
200 kilos now for Trey Nguyen of the USA.
The bar is
He is
loaded.
the
40
champion
changes for
of
the
the
juniors. 200
53s.
kilos for Nguyen.
Gonna go for a 445 total. Unfortunately, could not quite hold on there.
No, and our first really dramatic fall of the championships as well. I know that quite a lot of the young lifters like to use that for their social media following.
I'm sure it's going to be a big boost for his online presence,
Please.
alongside the fact that he is
5:30
the
for
sub junior
Ethan.
world champion. 225 now for Ethan Andrews.
And no lift too heavy for both
Unfortunately,
Ethan and the
just
world
a bit too heavy on
champion.
the day.
Next up, the short swing in
That
USA
is what a third attempt
37.5
deadlifts are
for the
for, though,
66 of
really
junior world
pushing the
champion
boundaries of what you're
Ethan Buck.
capable of.
Ranking all
Absolutely, and if you're
weight
secure in your
class.
place, you can go for the number you had in your mind. Like 225 is a really
2:30.
nice number.
It looks really nice on the bar.
237.5 now for George Cunningham of the USA. It's for a 600 kilo total. Another very nice number to have. And that is three white
Very
lights.
good
A
lift.
good lift to
Also performance
wrap up the
first
sub
world
juniors.
champion.
Yeah, that was a beautiful third
For
attempt from
juniors,
Team
weight
USA
class
there.
165 to 275. None other than Ray Bacco.
We'll be heading straight into the juniors for the 53s, 59s, and 66s. I do wonder if we're going to end up with any
165
great
for our
deadlift
swing.
battles in this flight.
Inubushi to follow.
So the openers are ranging from 165 up to 275 for none other than Bodhi Laco, who's surely going to be going for some records in this round. And we are starting with Braden Hollier of the USA. He was nominated in a pretty strong first place in the 53s heading into this competition, but Mongolia has brought a dark horse to these championships in the form of Bayarma, who is looking
Eagle
like he's going to
heavy
have a
lower
massive
lights.
lead. Three white lights, a good lift.
Yuki Inubushi Japan 180. Bayama to follow.
Up next at 180 we have Ryuichi Inubushi of Japan. The 66 kilo class is what's gonna bring us the best fights here. It's gonna be between Inubushi and Batsuk for the bronze medal, and between Price and Vamsi for the title. Definitely exciting times we live in.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see a really good battle here in the 66s. There's quite a big split between the top two and the lower two, so fighting for those podium positions is going to be
First
the
light.
game plan for all of those coaching staff.
And that is three white lights. Very comfortable
Bayama
opener
Mongolia
for Inubushi.
190 in the 53s. Loaded.
Bayarma of Mongolia now 190. They have lowered the opener a bit, but he's still gonna have a massive advantage over Hollier in the 53 kilo fight. Oh, is unfortunately a no lift, just loses balance at the top.
Yeah. He can come back and try that again. I think there was a little bit of a wobble in the lockout, and he just lost it too
Brady
far forward
Price,
to
USA
settle it back
205.
down again.
Backing
Yeah, I
back to the
think
huddle.
he's comfortable enough in the lead that if he gets the 190, he's more or less untouchable.
Bars loaded.
But he has to get it, and he's going to be nervous now because the title's pretty much in his pocket if he gets a deadlift on the board.
And that,
205 now for.
I was going to say, and that is a big if now. So I'm hoping that Team Mongolia can pull it out.
What you said. Brady Price now of the US opening at 205. 2 to 1 good lift, a yellow from the center referee, and a very close grip on the bar.
Nice lift
Let me
around
see that
45
again.
Chinese taipei at
He's grabbing on the
222.
bar
He's a
on the
At
part with no
221 for the
knurling.
final.
I have noticed a rising trend in junior and sub juniors doing that, especially if they are pulling sumo.
Bars loaded.
RPE 10 grip strength.
Oh, usually that's paired with hook grip, but still, grabbing on a smooth bar must surely be harder than grabbing on a knurled bar. That's why they put the knurling on.
Yes, it is.
If it works though. Can't argue with the guy. 220 now for Bo Yuan Pan of Chinese Taipei, who will be securing himself in the silver medal position of the 59s.
Just a total of 3 white lights to good lift. Nothing more points to go.
That
Back
is
to the
3
paddle
white
for the
lights,
black
a
belt.
good lift.
Respectively 255, 245, and 275.
Fugan
Bars loaded for
Batsuk up
black belt,
next. And
235.
for 235, he'll be 5 kilos behind Inubushi. Cannot quite hold
Loaded for
on.
black belt.
Oh dear, that seems to be
Silver
a
lifters for Team
worrying
Mongolia
trend
head
from
to
Team
toe.
Mongolia, just a little bit unsteady
Kazakhstan.
at their lockouts.
Let's
Opposing
hope
the
they can
opener
fix that
from
going into round
India,
2, because we certainly
225.
don't want to see
Defending the
them
title.
missing out on a title and a potential
Bars
podium
loaded.
place. Up next at 245 is Modem Vamsi of India.
Rising provisionally in the lead over Brady Price.
He'll be jumping into the lead of the class
For the
by
black belt
10
huddle.
kilos ahead of Brady Price, but it's going to be neck and neck, and they're going to be trading that lead back and forth. That is a strong looking first attempt.
3 white lights to good lift.
Yeah, that was really smooth there and 3 white lights. So he's on the board there with
His
his
first medal
deadlift.
is none other than Bodhi Lako. He's opening at a world record. The junior deadlift record. It is
And now, as it
275
was predicted in
or
the
a
ancient
5
prophecies by
repetition drop
Breyer,
from Bodhi
we
Lako.
have a world record junior deadlift attempt
Okay, this
for
is not
Bodhi
the finish though.
Lako.
This is just the start of the
275,
deadlift for Bodhi Lako.
going right
The bar is loaded.
nine and
World
a half
record
kilos
attempt.
over the current
USA.
record, standing at 265.5, and this should be fairly routine. I think he's got his eyes set on the 700.5 kilo total mark. That is three white lights, a good lift.
Good night from boys.
And I have received the tip that he has taken the record away from his brother.
That is
Oh,
suggestive. Time
I
for a
hope that
few
doesn't
standing
cause a
ovations.
feud at family dinners.
Braden Hollier, USA
Well, I
175.
think it's better to discuss deadlift records at Thanksgiving than current state of
Bars
politics.
loaded 175 for Hollier.
Still less disruptive. So going into round two, the Mongolians are unfortunately off the podium. We're gonna see if they manage to get an attempt in the second round. We certainly hope they do. We're starting with Braden Hollier at 175. Looks quite alright. Just waiting for the lights.
The lights are on a bit of a go slow today. I think they're just warming up for this
Referees flashing.
championships.
1, 2, and 3. That'll be a good
That
hit.
is three
3
white
whites.
lights or three white
We
pedals this
continue
time from
to
the
round
referees.
195. The bar
Going
is
back to the
loaded, 2
dark
seconds
ages
away
with
from Brady.
manual technology, manual reds or whites.
Yeah, what interests me are the pedals. I've seen flags, but not pedals.
In New Zealand, we do thumbs up, thumbs down.
So like at the gladiator games in ancient Rome,
Exactly.
thumbs down, he dies. Ryuichi Inubushi now, going for 195, trying to extend his lead in the battle for the bronze medal in the 66s. He has a chance. Unfortunately, that is a no lift.
He runs off the platform looking at his
Next up is
thumbs,
Norway,
so I'm
Rasmus
hoping there's still some
Nilsson on the
skin
board.
remaining on them
Cal,
for his third
Sweden,
deadlift.
2
You sort of had the
Bars
reaction I
loaded.
have when I burn
Bars
myself on
attached
the
are
stove.
Maybe the bar is hot.
Now for the first of the two Mongolians without a deadlift on the board, coming out is Bayaryargal Bayarma, going for 200 kilos despite missing 190. It looks like the 10 more kilos were what he needed to steady him. Just waiting for the lights, and it's
The
three white
results, a
lights,
good
a
hit.
good lift.
Yeah, that
55
was.
now from the
I think that was
USA,
also right on the line
165.
for a deadlift, so that 10 kilos was steady, but
Overhead pads, Chinese
I wouldn't have
Taipei,
wanted to be
follow.
any more flawed if I were him.
Oh, he
Bars
has
loaded.
a 490
This is
total now,
slightly
and I don't
inflated.
think Hollier is
First
going to be
position
catching
only
him.
about 10. Anyways,
So
the
he
main
is
event has
secure.
been decided in a
And
battle
as
for the
you
title
said, all he
between
needed was
India and
one
USA.
deadlift on the board, and then he's put his lead out of reach from Braden unless Team USA decides to do a Hail Mary third attempt change.
225 now for Brady Price of the USA. Waiting for the lights there. I think he
Are we
won.
going for
Ah,
Three
flags
whites, a
again?
good hit.
three white
So Brady
pedals.
Price is now back into first position. Fully mic pad, Chinese Taipei, 235.
You know what? I think I figured out what it
Follow.
is. There's pedal courts very close to the venue. I think they're just trying to get the referees to exercise.
If you can't lift, referee.
The bars loaded.
Well, I think some of the referees are pretty good competitors too. Of course, not all, including me.
And me.
235 now for Bo Yuan Pan of Chinese Taipei. A sizable jump of 15 kilos.
same weight
That is
for
3 white
Barbell
lights, a
Classic
good
Mongolia.
lift.
Can like his teammates to get him out this overhead. Bars loaded. RC and back with the bottom.
I would not want to let go of the bar any earlier than that though. Now for the final lifter off the board as of yet, we have Uganbat Batsuk of Mongolia, 235. He's retaking it and he still has a very reasonable chance of chasing down Inubushi. That looks a lot better.
That was a really beautiful deadlift from the Mongolian lifter, and now he's on the board and can start chasing that podium position.
Round 2 a title contender from Vamsi, India, going for 255. This will equal Braden Price, but not surpass him because he does have bodyweight advantage as the bar is loaded.
255 now for Modem Vamsi of India. He will be neck and neck with Price, behind only on body weight. Still looks strong.
3 white lights, a good lift.
Yeah, he's been having a really good day. All of his lifts have looked super convincing.
Now you can see that we're loading more plates. You can see that the screen is thickening because it is a world record attempt for both the junior deadlift record and the open deadlift record in the 59s. This one's for none
Now
other
for
than the
another record
USA
attempt, he has
qualifier.
secured the
The bar
junior
is
deadlift
loaded.
world
World
record
record
and is
attempt.
now trying to also secure the open deadlift world record. It's none other than Bodhi Lako of the USA, 290 kilos, and this would bring him within 8 kilos
To go even
of the
further, this
total
is where
junior
it will
record.
have easy way for you, buddy. Come on.
Yeah, when I predicted a deadlift record
Get
from Bodhi, I wasn't
up.
also expecting the open one.
Oh, it
3 white lights.
looks
Huge
ridiculously
bar
easy. I am expecting nothing but the 701
Round 2 goes
kilos.
down. Braden Hall,
He can
USA,
chip because it's the
185.
record.
Yuji
We'll see if
Ibushi,
he
Japan.
wants to or needs to. And the state of the affairs after round 2, we have everybody on the board. Only one miss in round 2 in Ibushi, which means that the fight for the bronze medal in the 66s is still wide open between Inubushi and Batsuk. And we still have the title to decide in the 66s between Vamsi and
Bars
Price,
loaded for Braden Hall,
whereas the
USA,
rest of the
165.
categories are at this point pretty much decided, but we're still gonna have another open and junior deadlift record and junior total record attempt by Bodhi Lako for the final lift of the session. We're starting off with Braden Hollier at 185. Ooh, a bit shaky there.
They tried no lift
Unfortunately,
for
cannot
Braden.
quite lock it out.
No, but
3 more kilos for
that was a
Yuji
third
Ibushi,
attempt. That
Japan,
was maximum effort
195.
on the platform, and he needs to be pretty proud of himself today. I mean, being out on the platform so young at an international.
The bar is loaded for Ibushi, 195.
Ryuichi Inubushi now, 195.
This one's to further
If he
increase
gets
his
this,
position in the weight
he's in
class.
a really strong
He has
position to
second
take
by Batsuk of
bronze.
Mongolia.
If he doesn't, Batsuk can drop his final deadlift by quite a bit and still overtake him. A lot is weighing on this third attempt. That's a lot better this time. Three white lights.
That was a beautiful third attempt. I reckon he should get a fourth attempt and add some more kilos to
Biceps
it.
will have to bump up to
Well,
257.5.
I'm glad that you bring up fourth attempts, Bayer. Did you know that
Down to
20
Bayama,
years
loaded
ago there was a
215.
fourth attempt in the
Bars
IPF?
loaded, Spice and Catch, follow.
I did not.
Yeah, there was a rule if you were within a reasonable shot of a world or I think even a regional record at regionals, you could be granted a fourth attempt if you went for a record, but it would not count towards your total. You would just get the record. Bayer Yargal, Bayer Manau of Mongolia, 215, going for 505 total, a massive improvement. Three white lights, and I think
Three
that was
white lights,
just
keep
about
it
on the
in.
limit on the lockout.
Yeah,
Next up is
absolutely. But
Brady
I'm
Price,
so glad he
USA,
managed to tidy it up
235.
from his first lift. And he looks absolutely stoked skipping off the platform.
Well, I would also be stoked after a performance like that. He came into the competition with a nominated total of 390. He put 115 kilos on that. It's
Next time and fastest to follow.
all respects. 235 now for Brady Price, the first challenger for the title in the 66s.
The bar is loaded for Brady Price, USA, 235. 10 more kilos for what to be in.
That's going to be for a 697.5 total. Vamsi would have to do 267.5 and a 700 kilo total to beat him.
Yes, the feel it in, Brady. Come on, one final pinfall. 3 white lights.
That is three
Final
white
kilos of the
lights.
day.
Brady gets his third
Two
deadlift
more
in,
attempts to stand
and
above
now
Vamsi's
it's going to
undisputed.
be all up to Modern
He has the
Vamsi
trademark
to try and
59 and
overtake
faster
him,
before
try
Vamsi.
and get that title.
It's 250 for Boyan Catch and center.
Next out at 250 is
The bar
Bo
is loaded
Yuan
for
Pan
Boyan
of
Pan,
Chinese Taipei.
250 kilos for the sixth berth.
Unfortunately,
This
just
time
starts
is loaded.
shaking, and from that, there's practically no recovery because
Three more
it's a
attempts.
reflex that your body does.
Christmas
You don't
push
want it to happen, but
for the podium.
can't
This is
control it.
it. Vamsi's going to pull for the title. Finally got it
Yeah,
out
that was
for
unfortunate, but
another
he
record.
has had a good day nonetheless.
The biceps has made his calculation 257.5 is what's needed to surpass Ilobuchi to be on the podium in the 66s.
Three lifts remaining, two to decide the fights in the
The bar is
66s, and then
loaded for bronze
a big
overall.
record
One fight
poll.
fastest for Mongolia.
First is 257.5 for Uganbat Batsuk of Mongolia to try and grab bronze medal in the 66 kilo class.
The 66 junior class is the only class with more than 3 people in it this morning.
Oh, come on!
Oh
Come
my
on!
goodness!
Ah!
That was so close.
That
But look at how
was.
close this is
Oh,
what
what
to
an
be in
effort that
for the
was!
podium.
Wow.
Just a
That
few
was
scratches.
a hero's pull, and that was very impressive. Oh,
On
and
the
the
winning list.
graciousness from Team
That is champion
Mongolia.
Brady Price from the UN segment,
Well,
third position in the
he can
66.
definitely say he left
697.5.
everything on the platform there.
Boyan Vamsi
It was
position
a mighty attempt,
257.5. 257
unfortunately.
hundredths to
Just
surpass Price.
not there today by the slightest of margins.
bar is
So
loaded for
that
Brother
means that
Kamsi.
Inubushi is gonna have the bronze medal overall. Now, who is gonna be the champion? It's in the hands of one man, Modem Vamsi of India, 267.5 for a
Vamsi Pal
700 kilo
champion.
total,
Champion of the
and to
world
take the
in the
title in
66s.
the 66s.
Either India or the USA. Faisal Vamsi. The Bulls will decide it all. Come on. And the
And
world
unfortunately,
champion
it's not
heavyweight
there.
Chrysler, the
That
USA.
is no lift, and the
197.
champion will be Brady Price of the USA.
One final pull.
Now, for another US champion who
Always
we've
equal.
known
That's
throughout the
for the
competition is
USA.
going to be the
Once
champion.
more, for a
Now,
world
trying to take the
record.
junior deadlift,
It's
the
the
junior
junior deadlift.
total, and open
Over
deadlift
the junior
records, Bodhi
total for
Laco
the open
of the
deadlift.
USA,
He's already the world
300
champion
kilos for
for
the
the
final
junior
pull.
record and the open record. But now for a total record, it's a furthest in all these records,
Team
multiple
USA,
medals.
of course, getting a pretty
Ready to
big
be loud
monopoly
for
over
Brother
these
Kamsi.
sub junior and junior
300
equipped
as of
male
59.
lifters today. They can be
There we
happy
go,
with
ladies
their
and
day
gentlemen.
one
The bar
performance
is
of a
loaded for Brother
12-day
Laco's
competition.
new world record. Here comes then.
Bodhi Laco for a new world record junior deadlift and total and open deadlift, 300 kilos for the
Come
final pull of the first
on.
session. Come on.
Three white lights and
Still
a new
lightning
world record
fast
for
off the
Brother
ground.
Laco.
Three white lights.
Almost finished
Where
strong.
is this
Once
guy's
again
limit?
for the victory,
I
59
don't think
seconds,
we've ever
66s.
seen it, and I don't think it's
Thank
even
you,
remotely
referees.
close to where we are.
Corners in the
Me neither,
2
but
minutes.
what a performance. He takes
Award ceremony.
uh,
All of these
the
guys
gold
were
in the
top 40s
59s
finish.
alongside
All
a
of the
handful of
sections
records
of
with
this
Bo
fight.
Yuan Pan in
Ready?
silver. In
Comes
the
to follow the
53s,
award ceremony.
Bayarma of Mongolia takes both deadlift gold and overall gold with 215 and 505 respectively, with Hollier taking silver across the board. In the 66s, the deadlift medals, it's Vamsi in first, Batsuk in second, and Price in third. But the overall podium is Price with 697.5. The champion of the 66s. Silver goes to Vamsi with 687.5, and bronze goes to Inubushi and Japan with 630. Uh, Stay tuned for the medals ceremony and join us back at 2 p.m. local time for the women's lightweight
Once again,
classes.
in just a
We'll see
few
you then.
minutes, the award ceremony. South Africa is running out awards to each and every sub-junior. Then we'll proceed to the awards by weight class. So now we'll proceed to award each and every weight class, starting off with the squat event of the sub-junior 53s. There was two of them. Collecting squat silver with 135 out of South Africa is Riyad Mohammed. And with 152.5 out of the USA, squat gold goes to Trey Mbien. Thank you. You may now step down. We'll be moving on into the bench press event. Silver medalist with 92.5 from the USA is Trey Mbien. And with the best attempt of 95 bench press gold goes to Riyad Mohammed from South Africa. Thank you. Now to the deadlift event with a personal best on the day of 167.5. Deadlift silver goes to South Africa and Riyad Mohammed. On the use 190 deadlift gold goes to the USA and Trey Mbien. Right, and thank you. Now to the final placings in the weight class. Vice champion of the world with 397.5 from South Africa is Riyad Mohammed. And your new sub-junior 53 equipped world champion with 435 from the USA is Trey Mbien. Please, everyone in attendance, if you can, stand up for the national anthem of the USA. For starting off with the squat event, bronze medalist with 165 is Riyad Mahomed from South Africa. Silver medalist with 172.5 from Ukraine is Yevgeny Belinsky. And with a personal best on the day of 210, squat gold goes to the USA, Ethan Andrews. Thank you. In the bench press event with 90 kilos, Yevgeny Belinsky from Ukraine gets bronze. With 100 kilos on the dot, Ryan Mahomed from South Africa gets silver. And with 135 collecting another gold, Ethan Andrews is your bench press gold medalist. Thank you. With 140 kilos, bronze medalist is Yevgeny Belinsky in the deadlift event. With 175, Ryan Mahomed from South Africa gets deadlift silver. And with a solid 250 kg deadlift, Ethan Andrews from the USA collects deadlift gold. Congrats and thank you. We're moving on to the final placings in the 59s. Bronze medalist overall with 402.5 from Ukraine is Yevgeny Belinsky. Vice champion of the world on home soil with 440, Ryan Mahomed. And our world champion is going to be walking home with 4 gold with 560 from the USA, Ethan Andrews, which is the junior 59 equipped world champion. Now everyone in the audience, if you're able to please stand up for the national anthem of the USA. Congratulations to the 59s. Just a quick photo and then we'll be moving on into the is bronze medalist with 180 from Japan, Yuta Fujie. Silver medalist of the squad event with 185 is Alan de Beer from South Africa. And dominant with 225, squad gold goes to George Cunningham of the USA. Thank you. With a PB on the day of 115, Yuto Fujie from Japan gets bench press bronze. Silver medalist with 130 is Alan de Beer from South Africa. And with 137.5, bench press gold goes to George Cunningham of the USA. Thank you. Time for the deadlift medals. With the bronze medal, 160 from Japan, it is Yuto Fujie. We're staying in the same order with 190. It is Alan de Beer from South Africa who gets deadlift silver. And cruising to another goal with 237.5, George Cunningham from the USA gets deadlift gold. It is now time for the final placings for the 66ers. Bronze medalist, third overall in the weight class with 455 from Japan, Yuto Fujie. Vice champion, silver medalist with 505 from South Africa, Alan de Beer. And with 600 on the dot, your 2026 Junior 66 equipped world champion is George Cunningham. And once again, please everyone in the audience, stand up if you're able to for the national anthem of the USA. you. In the bench press event with 97.5, Brendan Hollier gets silver. Leading by 12.5 with 110, Bayama from Mongolia gets bench press gold. Now to the deadlift event. You may stay down, gentlemen. Guys, you might want to go down. Thank you. With 175, deadlift silver goes to Braden Hollier of the USA. And with 215 kilos from Mongolia, Bayama gets gold. Thank you. Now to the final placings in the weight class. You can stay on the podium. These are the same placings. Second overall vice champion, it is Brendan Hollier of the USA with 435. And your junior 53 world equipped champion with 505 from Mongolia is Bayama Bayayagal. Now please, everyone in the audience, stand up if you're able to for the national anthem of Mongolia.
Picture, please, picture. Sit together.
Step up on the first step of the podium for the picture.
Yes. Okay.
Congrats and thank you. Now to the 59s. And what a weight class that was. Squat silver with 225 goes to Bo Yuan Pan from Chinese Taipei. And with 260 kilos, Buddy Lacko of the USA gets squat gold. Thank you. In the bench press event, placings are inverted. With 142.5, Buddy Lacko gets bench press silver. And bench press gold goes to Bo Yuan Pan from Chinese Taipei with 155. Thank you. And the deadlift event with 235, Bo Yuan Pan gets silver. now time for the final placings. You can stay into position because the vice champion is Bo Yuan Pan from Chinese Taipei with 615. And the world champion with 702.5 and new junior total record is Bodhi Lacko from the USA. Final deadlift for 3 new records. What a performance from Bodhi Lacko. And once again, please everyone in the audience stand up if you're able to for the national anthem of the USA. Congrats to the 59s. One final weight class to give awards to is the 66s. We're going to start off with the squad event of the 66s. Collecting bronze from Japan with 255, it is Yuji Inabushi. Silver medalist with 275 is Brady Price of the USA. Ever so close to 300 but only scoring 287.5, Madan Vamsi from India gets squad gold. Thank you. The bench press medals. Bronze medalist with 125 is Madan Vamsi from India. Going 1-3 and still collecting silver is Yuji Inabushi from Japan with 180. And playing the long game, scoring 187.5, Brady Price from the USA gets bench press gold. Thank you. Time for the deadlift medals now. With personal best attempt on the day at 235 from the USA, Brady Price gets deadlift bronze. With 235 kilos deadlift silver will go to Mongolia and Ngombat Batsu. And finally, with 255 deadlift gold will go to Madan Vamsi in India. Thank you. It is now finally time for overall placings in the 66s. He gets to step on the podium because he scored 6:30 from Japan, Ryuichi Inubushi. The vice champion played for the title all day long. Ends up in second position with 687.5 from India, Madan Vamsi. And with 697.5, your new junior 66 equipped world champion is Brady Price from the USA. And everyone in the audience, please stand up if you're able to for the national anthem of the USA. Congratulations